It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. There's a reason rappers can turn any story into a hit track. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, your case could be worth millions. But the truth is, a lot of people either don't file at all or get taken advantage of by insurance companies. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. If you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. No shortcuts, no lowball offers. In fact, they've secured some major verdicts in the past. For example, in Florida, they got a victim who was in a life-altering car crash, $12 million. 34 times the highest insurance offer. They got another victim in Philadelphia, $26 million. 40 times the highest insurance offer. Not all law firms are created equal. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They will fight for the biggest award possible and have won a lot. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. That's right, no upfront costs. They only get paid if you get paid. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Again, if you find yourself injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Don't say I never told you nothing, man. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. As y'all already know, Family Over Fame merch. You can get it in the shop. You could go on my channel, hit the store, and you can see the entire catalog. T-shirts, acid wash T-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, you know what I'm saying? The crew necks, good shit, man. For crew necks, make sure you size up, all right? The heavyweight T-shirts, those are my favorite. Or you can get the acid wash T-shirts. If you like them baggy, size up. But everything else should be true to size other than the crew necks. All right, now let's get into this GNX talk. Hold on. Okay, so we've got a new article out on Variety talking to GNX producers Sounwave, who's been with Kendrick pretty much from day one. We got DJ Mustard, and we have Jack Antonoff, who have all come out and spoken about the creation of this album. And word on the street is that they made anywhere in the upwards of 80 to 100 songs for Kendrick Lamar's GNX album. Now remember, we got about, 13 on that beat? 12, 13 on that beat? But they made 80 to 100. Now, you shouldn't be surprised by this. All right? Kendrick is somebody who never stops working. That's something that Ali has talked about, in their time working together on those first few albums. Every year, Kendrick works. Even when he's on tour, he's putting down ideas, he's accepting tracks, he's jotting down, or laying down ideas. Everything that he creates does not end up making it to the final product. We've heard Kendrick Lamar leaks, especially stuff from the Mr. Morale era, stuff that could have, or some people say should have. I don't necessarily agree. That could have made the album. And in that, you'll hear that sometimes he'll have the same verses on multiple beats. You'll have a hook idea that he puts on multiple beats. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, he ends up fleshing it out, and it turns into the final thing that you get. So with that in mind, 80 to 100 songs. I don't know if these are all 80 to 100 complete songs, or if it's 80 to 100 ideas and drafts that ultimately made it to the final cut. You know what I'm saying? But I would assume maybe, a third to half are probably fleshed out in some way, you know what I mean? Or could have been final songs, but then they may have gotten moved elsewhere, you know what I'm saying? But basically, ever since Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was complete, Kendrick was back in the studio, coming up with his next thing. So a lot of people tend to believe that because Kendrick takes breaks between albums, that he doesn't actually want to make music or release music or give it to the people, which I think is absolutely crazy. Some of the artists with the most time off or the least amount of music tend to have a lot of unreleased tracks. It's just about the format in which they want to present it, or if they ever do. Sometimes they just keep it for themselves for their own personal listening purposes, or just discard it like, hey, it wasn't good enough. So let's get into the article, shall we? So they say Jack Antonoff, Mustard, and Sounwave reflect on the years-long production process for Kendrick Lamar's GNX. We developed our own thing. The trio has been collectively named Variety Hitmakers Producers of the Year. Okay, so we have three. The three main producers on GNX are Variety's Producers of the Year collectively. The musicians speak on how they approach crafting the massive hit records on Lamar's sixth album. In November 2024, Kendrick Lamar's sixth album, GNX, arrived as big records often do these days, with little warning other than a teaser video that dropped less than an hour before the surprise release. But for those under the rapper's cone of silence for the past 3 years, GNX was the culmination of hard work and collaboration that met the moment head on. Lamar, fresh from arguably the most high-profile beef in hip-hop history, the one with Drake that reached a fever pitch last year, delivered an album that invoked the sounds of West Coast rap music while recentering the national spotlight on his native Compton. The reaction was nothing short of rapturous. He has secured 9 Grammy nominations for 2026, including Album of the Year and Song and Record of the Year, and he performed at the Super Bowl last February, taking a victory lap on the biggest stage in the world. Lamar, of course, couldn't have done it without his musical hive mind, primarily Sounwave, Jack Antonoff, and Mustard, who are collectively being honored as Variety Hitmakers Producers of the Year. Each has had stellar runs as titans in different corners of music. Sounwave has been Lamar's most consistent production collaborator since 2009 and contributed to records from Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Didn't even know Sounwave was on the Taylor Swift, but of course that Jack Antonoff connection runs strong. Antonoff only recently came into Lamar's orbit, but has become Pop's go-to collaborator on albums from Sabrina Carpenter and Lana Del Rey. Mustard brought the sound of contemporary LA hip hop to records like Lamar's Not Like Us and TV Off, after years of architecting the style with artists like YG and Ty Dolla $ign. Together, they helped craft one of the most singular and impactful rap albums in years. Work on GNX began almost immediately after the release of Lamar's 2022 album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, with the rapper collaborating closely with Sounwave and Antonoff, a pair who first connected around 2015 for Bleacher's sophomore album, Gone Now. And I had no idea that Sounwave and Antonoff went back that far. We have such a specific language between us, me and Sounwave, says Antonoff. And then we developed our own thing, the three of us. You have it or you don't with people. When you have it, it's really magical. When you don't, you go home. Okay. That's actually not a bad way of handling things, because some, people talk about writer's block and all that different type of shit. If you ain't got it, don't work. Fuck it. Come back when the inspiration hits or work through it. Either way, you got to figure it out. The trio spent years toiling on what Sounwave estimates was somewhere between 80 and 100 songs. All right, so this is the primary piece right here. Later pared down to the dozen that made GNX. So we got 12 records, but they made 80 to 100, as we spoke about. They would snag batches of time in the studio and created their own weird little secret society, recalls Antonoff, not in pursuit of a specific sound, but seeing where the process took them. The beginning of it was throwing paint on the wall, says Sounwave, and it started to form this massive, funky West groove that we love because Kendrick and I are from Compton. And in that, I started to realize the people who we should bring in to push it even further, like the Mustards, the Jacks. I was very fortunate to have these friends who are very talented to push it to the next level. Kendrick, what y'all gonna do with the motherfucking songs? 80 of them bitches? Can we at least run it back like a deluxe? They saying he gonna go back on the road next year too. When, where, why? I don't know. I don't have the answers, but that's what I'm hearing rumblings of. I know he already has some dates lined up for 2026, but I'll continue. Along with Not Like Us, which dropped at the height of Lamar's contretemps with Drake, Two songs on GNX, Luther featuring SZA and TVR featuring Lefty Gunplay, became among the biggest hits this year, according to Luminate. Not Like Us set the stage for the shape of the album, released to the surprise of Mustard after he'd been sending Lamar beats for years. I knew that I couldn't send Kendrick normal Mustard beats, he says. His instrumental that became the backbone for Lamar's Hey Now, for instance, had been passed over by Quavo and YG. Ty Dolla $ign cut an unreleased song over the beat. He says, I was sending Kendrick all types of shit, anything that I thought sounded like something I've never made before. That's what I was going for because Kendrick is different. Amid the swaths of ideas that Mustard would text Lamar directly were two instrumentals later combined to make TV Off, which went viral on the back of Lamar screaming, Mustard! At the beat switch. Mustard recalls creating the first half of the song in the same month that he produced Not Like Us, which is why they sound similar. Same sample artist and all that sample material. And he worked on the second part as an idea for his own album. As with Not Like Us, he heard the completed TV All for the first time along with the rest of the world, so he didn't even hear the motherfucking full song before that bitch was out for the world. He says, I never asked Jack or Wave who put those two beats together, or Kendrick, he says. Sounwave says it was Lamar's idea, which typically it is, because he compiles everything. He's the one that puts together, like, hey, we're going to do it like this, we're going to do it like this. This beat going to cut off here, another one going to start here. He constructs all of that, which shouldn't be a surprise. It's his fucking album. But there are artists out there who have producers and engineers that kind of, take the driver's seat once the music is created. Artists may come to the studio and be like, hey, let me play what I tried some shit. And they be like, yeah, keep it like that. Kendrick, on the other hand, he has his whole, this whole theatric vision that he puts together, and then he challenges the people around him to execute it. Okay? He says, I care, but I don't care. I was just like, that was great. The GNX magic happened in the studios where Lamar, Antonoff, and Sounwave collaborated, particularly for Luther, one of the biggest hits of 2025. The record is built around a sample of Luther Vandross and Cheryl Lynn's 1982 rendition of If This World Were Mine, a song that Lamar and Sounwave had wanted to flip since 2017's Damn. So they have been plotting on making this, I wouldn't say this same song, but some version of this song for fucking 7 years before they actually got it done. Luther came together as something of a groupthink exercise. Producer Rosalila sent a pack of beats mined for a kick and snare. Sounwave chopped up the sample. M-Tech replayed the chords on the piano. Ink came up with melodies for SZA's part. It was a spiritual experience, says Sounwave, because of how everybody just fell in. Everything we added was just like the perfect missing piece to that record. I need to figure out who Ink is. I know a Ink from the West Coast, but I'm like, is that the same Ink I'm thinking of? I gotta find out. Antonoff, for his part, densely laid in bits of guitar and mellotron to build out the world of Luther. If you really listen to the record, obviously Kendrick and SZA are right there, and the beat's right there, and the melody, he says, but there's all this stuff dancing around like in between them. I wanted to go overboard with the presentation of how special it could be. I ended up sitting alone for a really long time, carving out all these little spaces. Okay? So some of that extra ear candy in there that you might not notice the first couple listens, but if you just get encapsulated into the music, courtesy of Jack Antonoff. The meticulous nature of GNX only intensified as the record sped toward completion. Antonoff recalls working on final mixes as late as 4 in the morning, just hours before the album's release. Its impact was instantly tangible. Luther held court atop the Billboard Hot 100 for 13 weeks, while Not Like Us picked up Grammys for Song and Record of the Year. But for the producers who helped bring GNX to life, it signified that taking risks, sonically and creatively, was the only path forward. It basically shows that there's no boundary, says Sounwave. We hate to just keep doing the same thing over and over. It's something we kind of thrive off of, just reinventing yourself. Do stuff that makes it exciting, and the people who supported you will be excited with you. I kid you not. Yesterday, there was a 60-year-old woman driving down the street rapping a GNX song word for word. Just to see that my home is still playing is at, excuse me, just to see that my home, you mean home or homie, is still playing it as if it just came out. Oh, my home. Okay. That's special. Okay. And many of y'all can attest to that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely caught a piece of some real facts this year with the different variety of age ranges who really got encapsulated since this beef jumped off. You know what I mean? A lot of people became Kendrick Lamar fans and GNX fans in the last year. A lot of people jumped on board after the Super Bowl, and again, 60, 50, you know what I'm saying? I look at my demographic numbers here on YouTube, and hey man, I ain't got no little kids watching my shit. I'm not one of those channels geared towards 18 to 25-year-olds. Interestingly enough, we have a more mature crowd over here. So I think a lot of that is largely based around the support for Kendrick and other artists who are like-minded. So hit makers, Jack Antonoff producer, Sounwave producer, Mustard producer. They get into the personnel on these hit records. Luther featuring SZA. You got songwriters Kendrick Lamar, Solana Rowe, Inc., Sam Dew, Mark Anthony Spears, Jack Antonoff, Roswitha Larisha Baca or Basha, Matthew Bernard, Kamasi Washington, hey, keep the horn on me, and that Kamasi, Scott Bridgeway, and Marvin Gaye. Damn. Yeah. Producers, Soundwave, Jack Antonoff, Rosalila, M-Tech, Bridgeway, Kamasi Washington. All right, so half the so-called writers, people are going to come in with this. They're producers, and if they're not, they're also sampled, other than melodies and stuff like that. This publisher's list is too long to read, I'm going to be honest. Not like that, not like us, Kendrick Lamar, Ray Charles, Sean Mumberger. Producers, Mustard and Sean Mumberger. Co-producer, Soundwave. TV off. Turn his TV off. Featuring Lefty Gunplay. Kendrick Lamar, Dejon McFarlane, that's DJ Mustard, Sean Mumberger, Mark Anthony Spears, Jack Antonoff, Kamasi Washington, Larry J, Jimmy Webb, John Berry, Jay Hawkins, Chris Martin, Christopher Wallace. And of course, Chris Martin is DJ Premier. Christopher Wallace is the Notorious B.I.G. Of course, that is for the interpolation of Ain't No Other Kings in This Rap Thing. They siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappearing. Those are Biggie Smalls lyrics from, what is it, Kicking the Door? Produced by DJ Premier. Producers, Mustard, Sean Mumberger, Soundwave, Jack Antonoff, Kamasi Washington, Larry J. Okay? Hey, my nigga, we need this motherfucking music, man. Especially, it's been some nice releases. It's been some nice pleasantries and stuff like that. But we 2026, we need more Kendrick. We need you outside. We need you to help navigate this shit, to bring this shit back to a good place, to keep lyricism and good vibes at the top of the conversation, top of mind. Because a rising tide raises everything, right? Am I fucking recording into a goddamn computer mic? I am pissed. Y'all gonna have to excuse that shit. I just noticed that I've been recording on the fucking computer mic the whole goddamn video. I'm gonna do my best to clean this shit up, but I'm not re-recording this. I am not. Fuck that. 8 doobie to the face, nigga. Fuck that. Alright? This shit done pissed me off so bad, I gotta get the hell off. Damn! Hey, man, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Be sure to let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. I definitely am ready for more Kendrick Lamar music. I am interested to hear what those other 80 to 100 songs sound like. I ain't gonna lie. If somebody got a pack, send them my way. I will not leak them. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. I promise the next video will not be on the goddamn computer mic. Fuck. Family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'll never politic in the drama be piling on. Father and greats unacknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 6 bank accounts every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had to